Hello everyone. As you can see, I have new headgear. I bought these headsets because they have a built-in microphone, and I personally believe my audio has improved, but let me know what you think in the comments. This week's video is a brief history, look at the cities, and the SDF-1. Let's get started. A brief history. Now, very important piece of technology that held a protoculture furnace fell to Earth. This Zentradi, I can't pronounce his name, was sent to Earth to collect it. He came with the SDF-1, the SDF-2, and his battlecruiser. Mankind, who had learned a little bit about robotechnology, had learned enough to fight back in the first Robotech War. The problem was the survivors of this first battle feared the consequences of potential radioactive fallout. After all, the SDF-1, 2, and battlecruisers were using protoculture technology. And humans at this point, not fully understanding protoculture, didn't know how to deal with the potential consequences. Now, to keep the Earth safe from future alien attacks, Major General Rick Hunter, together with Field Admiral Leonard, were tasked to oversee and grow the new army of the Southern Cross. So named because the homeworld of the Robotech Masters was discovered to be in the Southern Cross constellation. Now, something they don't say clearly, the Army of the Southern Cross is part of the Robotech Defense Force. Not the main body, but part of. And Rick Hunter was helping with both the recruiting of the Southern Cross Army and Robotech Defense Force in general. Survivors of the first Robotech War and any Zentradi allies found themselves put into several different projects to ensure that the Robotech Masters would be defeated if they ever came to Earth. And it was during this period a new Mars base was established, as well as several orbiting space stations and a lunar base. Max and Mariah Sterling have been placed in charge of the famous Skull Squadron. Their job is to filter out all traces of hostile Zentradi warriors. This is around the world. Dr. Emil Lang is the scientist that established the Robotech Research Center. He is also the man who discovered robotechnology, locked away in the memory matrix of a supercomputer hidden deep within the bowels of the SDF-1. He is the most knowledgeable man of robotechnology on Earth. Rear Admiral Lisa Hayes. This admiral is currently in charge of the production of the SDF-3. Upon the death of Admiral Glover, she made a promise that she would build the SDF-3 to protect mankind. The purpose of the SDF-3 is to take a large enough army to go to the Robotech Masters' homeworld. There, they will plead for a peaceful solution. If a peaceful solution cannot be found, the SDF-3 will be prepared for war. And unlike the SDFs 1 and 2, it will have no civilian population. The Robotech Defense Force is still the major defensive force on the planet. They are tasked with policing and maintaining huge areas in both space and on land. They have come to represent law, order, nobility, and most of all, symbolize the ability to triumph against seemingly insurmountable odds. Now, this note here basically just says this book takes place between the Macross series and the Southern Cross series. The Western Hemisphere after the Zentradi assault. These are cities that had either sprung up or changed after the Zentradi assault. North American sector. Population 40 million humans and 50,000 Zentradi. I'm not entirely sure what that says, but it basically means Zentradi that are friendly towards humans. So 95% friendly. By far the strongest manufacturing, economical, and military force in the Americas. The North American Center is concentrated around McFrost City in the Alaskan region. Quebec sector. Population 6 million humans and 8,000 Zentradi, 70% friendly. Taking advantage of the federal breakdown of the world, the French speaking population of Quebec founded their own government. York 18 million people and 1,400 Zentradi, 100% friendly. Although completely controlled by humans, is not part of the unification movement. They have extensive manufacturing and robotechnology facilities. Arkansas population 5,700,000 humans, 22,000 Zentradi. Friendliness varies. Something of a paradox, the Arkansas province is ruled and organized by Zentradi who are not part of the Union, but who also stand against the Zentradi Control Zone. The Zentradi Control Zone: 9 million humans, 145,000 Zentradi, about 65% friendly. Although the Zentradi admiral is long gone, his legacy lives on in this huge, rugged area of South America. Rebels and criminal Zentradi from every corner of the world still trickle in. Any Zentradi that does not wish to be part of human culture eventually ends up in the Zentradi Control Zone. Argentina sector. Population 24 million humans, 220,000 Zentradi, 85% friendly. This nation would not exist but for the constant support and assistance of the North American sector. Although it does serve as a manufacturing and military base, it is also racked with anti-unification demonstrations and terrorist acts. Zentradi information bases. In remote locations around the world, the Zentradi operate mobile supply and reconnaissance bases. Most are allied with the Zentradi Control Zone, but a significant number are their deadly enemies. Surveillance and assault bases. Surrounding the Zentradi Control Zone is a network of surveillance stations which constantly monitor the area for a sign of a Zentradi breakthrough. The Super-Dimensional Fortress, or SDF-1. The control tower, the rear of the ship, and an overall look of the ship. This is what the SDF-1 is capable of turning into. Now, this is a very important little thing here. Even though the SDF-1 and the SDF-2 were destroyed by the obsessed Zentradi admirals, the creator has included it for those who wish to recreate the original Macross saga or exploit the SDF-3 for their own series of space adventures. All this really says here is the fact that the SDF-3, a future ship of the series, was created by what was left of the SDF-1 and 2. Although, if you do decide to play with the SDF-1, it does give the crew and civilian count. The Battle Fortress also has Destroid, Veritech, and other manufacturing facilities on board, thus mecha can be replaced and constructed on the SDF-1. Ship type: Space Battle Fortress. Crew: 800 plus 1,200 military personnel and 70,000 civilians. MDC by location: as you can see, there is a lot. Additional combat systems: Destroids, Excaliburs 36, Gladiators 24, Radar 10, 72, Spartans 56, Mac 2s 24, Veritechs, the VF-1A 200, the VF-1J 50, the VF-1S 40, Armored 6, the VT-1D Trainers 12. Length, I don't know why they don't give a width. Weight, main engine, reflex. Rocket propelling system, 3 thruster clusters. Gravitational control system, failed when first engaged. Fold system, disappeared after its first use. Here's a 360 of the SDF-1, an interior picture. Keep in note the SDF-1 was originally sized for giants. Weapon combat summary. Total attacks per melee, number nearly 1,000, with all systems engaged. Main gun, reflex cannon. Total destruction, range 60,000 miles. Reflex beam cannons, 8, 1d4 times 1,000, MDC. Range 16 miles. Railguns, 4, 3d4 times 100 MDC. Range 16 miles. Long-range missile launchers, 12, Damage and range varies. Medium range missile launchers, 48. Damage and range varies. Dual autocannons, 48. 2d4 times 10 MDC. Range, 12 miles. Laser cannons, 48. 1d4 times 10. Range, 4,000 miles. Additional weapons, droids and Veritech fighters. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Next week's video will be a bit longer than usual, as it's going to be about character creation. Hope to see you there. Have a great week.